I need you to repeat after me, okay? I am not the roles, responsibilities, or boxes that people put me in. I am a baddie. Welcome to Building a Baddie. Mommy, boss, coworker, friend, maybe, but also baddie. You, yourself, inside. Me, myself, inside, under all the layers. Bring them on to Joe. Who are they? In episode 1, we learned how to visualize who this version of ourselves is, right? We made a little vision board. We pictured what they would do, what they would say, what they would wear, what they would smell like, all the things about them. And in today's episode, I was going to start talking about how we can start to feel like them, do some more woo-woo manifestation-y things. But it's not the time for that yet. Number 1, if you're watching this in real time, it's eclipse season. It's not the time for that. Number 2, if you want to step into the life of the person you want to be, of your truest authentic self, there's a lot of shit, a lot of baggage, a lot of things you gotta let go of first. You can't buy new clothes if your closet is full of old clothes. We're gonna do a lot of journaling in this episode, a lot of breaking down our internalized belief systems. I'm dressed like it's 20 degrees. It's currently 95. I literally have a warm beverage. I'm trying to be cozy. I'm trying to emit cozy because we should get cozy, right? It's so freaking hot in Miami. It's hard to be cozy. But imagine if it was raining and you had a fireplace going. That's what I want you to feel right now. Do whatever you need to do to feel cozy, to feel like you can go inside. Maybe watch this from a bubble bath. I don't know. I've got my journal here. This journal, I almost need a new one. I'm almost towards the end. We've been working through some things lately. The first thing that we need to identify is the ways that we're currently living out of fear, out of a lack of trust in ourselves, a lack of trust in the world, a lack of trust in our purpose and our calling and our dreams. What do we want that lives on the other side of believing that it's impossible, that it won't work, that it can't happen, that we aren't worthy, that we aren't good enough? What do we want that lives on the other side of that? We gotta figure that out. We gotta get there first. So the first question on your little journal is gonna be, I actually asked myself this the other day. Let's find how I worded it. Okay, if you knew that everything worked out, what would you be doing differently? How would you live? What decisions would you make? How would you feel? What would you think about if you knew that everything worked out? Write that down. Also, I'm just going to keep going, but pause as we get there. What do you believe about your own success? What do you think you're actually capable of? And if those beliefs don't align with this version of yourself that you want to be, let's deconstruct them. Let's say I have a fear that when I post a video, everyone is just going to reply with hate comments. Everyone's just going to hate it and reply with evil, mean hate comments. Is that objectively true? No, it's not. It's a fear. It's a fear because I'm worried that my worth is based on other people's opinions of me, okay? That's something that can be broken down and figured out. Why do I believe that? Where did that start? Is that objectively true? No? Okay. So start really understanding what your fears are surrounding this goal, this dream, this vision that you have for yourself. Where do you think you're not capable? Where do you think you're not worthy? And dive deep. Where does that start? And is it objectively true? The answer will always be no, it's not objectively true. If a friend came to you and was asking for advice in whatever area you're currently struggling with, what would you tell them? What advice would you give them for moving through this? The next question that you can ask yourself is, what patterns or repeated situations keep coming up in my life? Write those down. And what are they trying to teach me? A lot of times we will face the same situation in different circumstances. So it'll be the same person in different people, right? Or the same relationship with different people. The same ending with a bunch of different jobs that you've had. Maybe you keep getting fired in a specific way, or you keep getting cheated on, or, whatever it is. What is the repeating pattern in your life that's hurting you? First, just write that down, write about the patterns, get that out. What is this pattern trying to show me? What is this pattern trying to teach me? What can I learn from this pattern about myself? How am I growing through this pattern? Like, in what ways is it actually serving me? The whole point of all of this is how can we become more genuinely ourselves? And how can we live in a way that is more genuinely ourselves? And that comes after we let go and release all of the things that aren't serving us anymore. All of the people, all of the situations, all of the little habits we do that aren't actually aligned with who we are and the version of ourselves that we want to step into. Which roles are we playing in our lives that we don't actually want to play anymore? Like, I started this off about our roles and responsibilities. Are there any roles and responsibilities that you can cut, that you can clear out, that are not yours anymore, that you are over, that, you are goodbye? And what roles and responsibilities do we want to step more into? What ways do we think we can be a leader? What roles do we want to really try to fulfill more of? Do we want to get more actively involved in? What makes me feel alive? What makes me feel passionate? What could I spend hours doing or hours talking about? And a part of recognizing where you're not really being authentically yourself is recognizing where are you still looking for approval? Where do you seek approval from others? Where do you feel anxious about other people's opinions of you? And if I wasn't living for approval or for the expectations of other people or out of habit, what would I be doing? I'll give you an example. I have always wanted to be on YouTube, right? I love making YouTube videos. I've been doing this since I was 18 in high school. It's just so fun for me, right? But the thing that's always stood in the way of me making videos is my fear of being perceived. I don't necessarily feel like I am, worthy of being perceived for whatever reason. And I had to go back in time and understand why I felt that way and where that started. And what you continuously ask yourself when you're doing this work is it objectively true? Because nothing is objectively true when you actually break it down. And then you realize that you're actually just carrying a lot of beliefs around that are just opinions that aren't actually true, but that are 100% holding you back from everything that you're trying to do. For example, my dream most aligned self, she feels free, she feels abundant, she doesn't feel tied down by the constraints of doing things that she doesn't want to do for work, for money. So that goes into my thoughts around work and my thoughts around money. I, for a long time, have had this fear, this limiting belief that in order to make money, you have to do things that you don't like. Right? In order to make money, you have to do things that you don't want to do. Where did that start? Where did that come from? Right? Is that objectively true? Hell no, it's not. There are plenty of people who do literally what they love and make tons of money doing it. Money isn't evil. It doesn't only come from bad and evil. It's just what you do with it, right? But these are belief systems that I've had to recreate because it wasn't my baseline. I think we're all moving through a doorway of transformation in our lives, and whenever we're doing this work of building a baddie, of being the most aligned, authentic version of ourselves, we're going to continuously need to do this process where we set the intention, set the vision, who do we want to be? This step is let go of the things that person isn't. Let go of the things that we're ready to move on from. And then after we do this work, that's when next week we can start doing the work of actually starting again, to start doing these things that are aligned with us, that do make us feel alive, to start thinking like them and feeling like them. That's what we'll do next week. But today, simmer in the what you're letting go of. Start to really dissect and understand who you're moving on from, what parts of yourself don't need to come along for this journey. Lovingly, with love, goodbye. 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 And remember, change is scary, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's uncomfortable. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I will pin a comment of all the journal prompts below if you want to continue to do these in your own time. And I will see you next week or in 2 weeks. I've been doing these every 2 weeks because I like doing little get ready with me's in between. And the next episode will be all about tapping into feeling like this version of ourselves, doing more little manifestation-y things, and it'll be so fun. So I will see you next time. Bye.
1, 2.